Well, right now we want to turn to the real estate market. May is typically one of the busiest months for selling and buying homes. It's the coveted spring market. Now, as we head into summer, we're hearing from company Redfin that the real estate brokerage firm, it's reporting home sales actually declined by 3% last month. Aside from May of 2020, which was an outlier, it was the start of the pandemic. It really sent shockwaves through the housing market to see something like this. There hasn't been a decline in the month of May for more than a decade. Part of the equation here could be mortgage rates. They've now climbed to their highest level since 2009. Joining us right now live is John Leonardi, the Chief Executive Officer for the Buffalo-Niagara Association of Realtors. John, thanks so much for joining us. I know that you're traveling. We appreciate you taking the time. I think we're all wondering, as we saw what's happening nationally here, are we also seeing the housing market cool off a bit locally?
Hi, Michael, and thank you for having me. The market is starting to cool a little bit with the consideration of several factors. One, we are going, as you said, into the July 4th weekend. Summertime tends historically to be a little slower, but coupled with the interest rates almost touching 6%, on top of just inflation, when people are paying on average $5 a gallon for gas, food has gone up. Buyers are starting to be a little more concerned on how much home they could buy, interest rates. And so it is starting to cool a little bit.
Yeah, and it's interesting just to see, what's happening nationally and wondering, because we've reported now for so long that the Western New York housing market has just been so hot. Are you seeing us differ from some of the national trends, or are we really kind of starting to follow what we're seeing everywhere else?
Basically, for us in Western New York, our market has always been very steady. We didn't see the great housing bust that a lot of other MSAs experienced. While our market, again, is very stable, I just think that we'll continue to plod along. Obviously, everything is unpredictable. 2 months ago, the world was totally different than it is today, especially given the fact that the central bank just raised rates June 15th, 0.75 basis points. Who knows, with the trying to predict what's going to happen. But our market in Western New York is fairly stable. We won't have a great dip. On the national level, we'll probably see a decrease about 6 to 8%. Slowdown and a decrease in home sales. But given the fact over the last 10 years, that's the second or third best market nationally over the last 10 years.
Yeah, that puts it into perspective for sure. We mentioned how spring is such a big time for people to buy and sell homes. Now we're moving into the summer, which I think is a little bit different than spring, right? Every season has its little quirks. What advice do you have to people right now if they're selling or if they're buying as we're now heading into the summer?
Well, the first thing I would always tell anybody in the market, buying or selling, is to contact your local realtor. They live and work in the area that you want to buy. No one knows the market better than a realtor. That's number one. Number two, if you're looking to sell your home, don't be afraid of not having enough buyers. There are buyers out there that are willing to continue to look and purchase homes. Sellers, this is a great time to take advantage of, even though the interest rates are rising. I will say, I remember a time when interest rates were 17, 18%. So buyers are out there. There'll be more inventory coming on the market again as things slow down. And sellers, contact your realtor and put it on the market.
Yeah, you talk about that there will be more inventory coming on the market. People like to hear that because in many cases, it's been really hard to find a house. We've heard so many stories. And homes going for just these astronomical amounts over asking because of the demand that's out there. It's been interesting to follow for sure. Always great to have you on. John Leonardi is the CEO for the Buffalo-Niagara Association of Realtors. Have a great evening.
You too, Michael. Thank you.
So we talked about rising interest rates right there with John. There is one tool that's helping some home buyers make their monthly payments a little bit more affordable, but it's coming with a risk. We're talking about adjustable rate mortgages. Applications are up big time for them. This type of mortgage gives homeowners a lower starting interest rate than a traditional mortgage, but the rate can eventually go up big time. That's why some people will want to avoid this option.
Someone that does not like to see their monthly payments increase, because that is no doubt a possibility. If you do not have a tolerance for being surprised by a higher monthly payment, you should really look at a 30-year or 15-year fixed rate.
There's a lot to this. Ahead on NBC Nightly News, what you need to know about these adjustable rate mortgages and whether or not they could work for you. That's at 6:30 right after Channel 2 News at 6.